Greetings and salutations, everybody. David Duford here. Thank you guys for spending some time. This is another episode of the David Duford Experience. I think this is episode 12, and I'm joined here today with my friend in the business, Mr. Luis Moreno. Say hello, Luis.
Hey, guys. Beautiful Tuesday. I think it's a Tuesday. I can't even keep up with the days anymore.
Yeah, they all run together, being stuck in the house all the time.
They are running together now.
So that's why we're here today, because if you're watching this today, you know what's going on. If you're watching this in the future, you may have forgotten about all this COVID stuff, whatever it is. We are in the midst of a probable economic crisis. The normal and customary ways of doing business have changed. And understandably, agents are afraid. They should be, at least. How are they going to adapt to the environment? Of course, I have Luis on because we do a Medicare Advantage sales and marketing program together. We take agents and help them become top producers to sell Medicare Advantage. And our common way in which we do that, of course, is by doing face-to-face appointments. And so there may be some concerns, some questions. Is this still a valid form of business? And what I have learned when Luis emailed me yesterday, or one of my agents, Ethan, how many policies did he write again?
Hit 18. Now, that's not in a month. That's in a week.
1 week.
5 days.
This last week, not
This
like
past
a month
week
ago when none of this is a problem. Okay. So,
That's right.
And he did what, 17 of the 18 over the phone?
17 were telesales, and then one of them was in person, and I walked them through my little creative techniques.
Gotcha. Cool. So let's talk about that. So, obviously this is an exceptional example, but what is the average agent with us and that we're working with in Medicare doing to combat this resistance and understandably of not seeing people face to face?
Well, number one is what I want to put out to the agents that are listening is if you're encountering resistance, a lot of it, and this is going to be just an assumption, is the actual agent having the resistance. This thing is it's almost, and I tell you, it's a great title for this video, is it's almost business as usual. Okay, we have a lot of agents still selling out there. All that you have to do is adapt your techniques, and the adaptation is pretty easy. One of the things that we normally do in our regular course of business before this coronavirus was mainly face to face. Okay, well, now with this pandemic, it's a little harder to do. That population is very vulnerable. So we do want to try to stay away physically, but we can still conduct that process over the phone. And most of these seniors are okay with it. They know, they don't want to meet, but they still have needs for insurance. Still turning 65. They still want all the additional benefits, the normal selling stuff that we do. They still want access to that. So I would say it's almost business as usual, but you just got to conduct your entire presentation over the phone. And I will tell you, Ethan's script, and we should get him on here sometime, but I will tell you, it was so easy. I mean, it wasn't any complicated script. It was to the effect of, hey, David, normally how we would do business is I would be meeting you in person. But due to our scenario, we can't. I am a local agent, David. I am in your area. And he stresses that he's still a local agent. Okay. And he puts them at ease. And then he finishes off by telling them, David, as soon as this crap is over with, you're going to put a face to the name. I am going to come by and see you. I tell you what, looking at your address, I'm going to take this highway, and then I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to be in your place in 15 minutes. So it's easing it's making them feel like they're still dealing with a local agent. So,
and that's what I've been teaching my final expense guys, is that you're in a position where if it's not already taboo is the nicest way to put it, illegal to leave your home and conduct business, you should train yourself to that accordance. However, the unique opportunity we have is that all of our clients are at their house. There's not nearly as much telemarketing going on. And guess what? Guess what people are concerned with right now? Keeling over and dying. Yep. It's the opportunity of a century, without sounding like a total ass. It really is. I mean, it's probably been since 9/11, since people have been concerned about something so big that's nationwide that directly affects the people we're talking to. And it has direct implications for final expense. But in our case, I mean, you mentioned earlier, who would want to wait to get good coverage for Medicare with all that's going on? Wouldn't you as a senior be concerned to make sure you've got the best coverage in place? I mean, this business is not stopping. Even with all else that's going on there, wouldn't you agree?
I agree 100%. If it's stopping, it's because you're letting it stop you. Okay, seniors, and I just spoke with two. Right before we talked, I spoke with two seniors, and they're turning they're aging into Medicare in May. And their question was, how are we going to do this? I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm going to send you all the documents by email. We're going to review them over the phone. I'm going to do my analysis. I'm going to figure out which plan is going to be best for you. And then we'll sign electronically. And they're like, really, we can do this all over the phone? And as long as you got email, we're good. And they were like, it was all right, business as usual. Got their name and number. They still need to get some things together. And, but it's really, like I said, it's almost business as usual. And so I tell agents, don't let this thing affect you or slow you down.
This is one of those, this circumstance we're in reminds me of an old saying that is very relevant. It's methods are many, principles a few. Methods always change, but principles never do. And if you think of principles as fundamentals, the fundamentals of this Medicare business are sound. Since you came up and did your presentation with me, that was kind of at the forefront of all of this happening. So it's been like 5 weeks, maybe 40 days.
Right.
How many seniors have turned 65 a day? 10, 11,000?
I haven't even broken it down daily. Well, no, I do have it daily. I'm sorry. What am I talking about? 10 to 12,000 a day, turning 65 in the U.S.
So maybe if we're conservative, 10,000 a day times 40 is 400,000 seniors. How many of those people do you think wanted Medicare supplements or Medicare Advantage plan? Probably most of them, 90%.
All of them do. But that's their only choice. They either are going to choose a supplement with a prescription drug plan, or they're going to get a Medicare Advantage plan. Yeah. And if you're talking to those seniors, I tell agents, don't do one or the other. Present both. There's not a wrong or right. It's not my presentation when I do it, and I'm in San Antonio, I'm in Texas, and my presentation when I talk about option 1 or option 2 is I tell them, David, this is like a car or a truck. What is best for you? You hear the pros and cons on the truck, and here are the pros and cons on the car. Either way, I'm gonna be able to take care of both options for you. You tell me. Now, every agency is different. For me, 90% of my customers go with the Medicare Advantage option. 10% go the Med Sup option. But that's just my clientele. It's not saying it's better or worse. It's just the clientele that I deal with. And for other agencies and agents, it could be the flip-flop or a 50-50. Like I said, there's not a right or a wrong to it.
And the thing is that, if, let's say, worst case scenario, we're locked in our houses for the next 6 months, all right? How much of that experience, that circumstance, will have an impediment to getting clients approved for coverage? The truth is, it won't.
Not a bit.
None. As long as your methodology matches what the market's doing. That's the key takeaway here, guys. You're going to have to adapt. It may be short term, it might be longer term, but it's not changing the underlying fundamentals. You've got to roll with the punches. So why don't we talk a little bit about that, Luis, because that's the thing. Our business model has almost been entirely face-to-face up to this point. We've all been forced to change. That's the only way forward. There's no real other choice. How have agents been making that shift, selling Medicare Advantage, moving from the traditional face-to-face model to over the phones?
So normally, assuming that customer, that Medicare beneficiary has an email, you conduct everything via email. All the plan docs you submit that you would normally use during your presentation, you're going to send them to that Medicare beneficiary. Now, my process is a little bit different, okay? I do a little bit of fact finding first, kind of figure out which way they're going to go. But as soon as I know that we're going to go with a Medicare Advantage plan, we get a scope of appointment signed. Now, you can do that with DocuSign. Now, you can't use a specific carrier SOA yet because you don't know which carrier you're going to go with. You haven't done any fact finding. So I don't want to send them 5 different scopes. So what you could do is use a generic scope. Okay, and you can download a generic scope from the net. Then we'll get into some fact finding. We'll get your doctor list, your prescription list, and once I've narrowed down the plan, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all those plan documents to you by email. Now we'll get to the issue when they don't have an email, but I'm going to get those to you, and then once you get them, we're going to go over the presentation just like we were in person. Nothing different. I'm not going to miss any beats, and everything's going to continue business as usual.
I mean, like how different is it? I mean, some people are concerned like, geez, I got to talk to somebody on the phone. Is this going to be as receptive? But how different really is it when you're trying to help them with your Medicare? If you're sincere about wanting to do it, it's not going to be that big of a jump to go from what you've done well face-to-face to doing it well over the phone, I would think.
It's the same. I literally, there shouldn't be any different. There's not a different presentation. Now, I would definitely, as an agent, I want to CYA myself as much as I can. I want to document this. I want no doubt if this senior does file a complaint, I want no doubt that I made the presentation. And now, by email, will you have the sent email confirmation that you sent them all the docs? Okay. I know that with when I say creative, I'm going to get into the creative thing here in a minute. But document as much as you can, just in case that complaint comes down the road. But as far as do you change your processes on the presentation? And that is a no. It shouldn't take you any longer, other than maybe that senior has some more questions. Now you are doing over the phone. You're not able to see their expressions on whether they're understanding or not. You definitely want to go super slow. Make sure that you're emphasizing the major points on that, and ask a lot of questions. David, does this make sense to you?
Right.
Are you sure you understand this? This is super important. I try to get as many confirmations from them that they're understanding what you're presenting, so that there is no issues. Okay. Now, the question is, what happens when they don't have an email? Okay. Number one, agents never use your email. Okay. It's out there. Don't use your email. Now, various ways to do it. You could, create an email with their permission, but of course we want to have they want to have the ability to access this email either on their phone or their computer. And they frown on this, but a daughter, a son who helps them with all their medical decisions, possibility. But if you want to get creative with this, and this is going to be mind blowing. Okay, get ready, guys. All right, just make sure they're paying attention right here, David. Here we go. You want to get creative with this, man, and I am a creative kind of guy. What you can do is 2 things. Take the entire enrollment kit to the senior and place it on their doorstep. Okay, remember, they don't have email. Place it on the doorstep. Let them grab it, go inside. Do your entire presentation over the phone. Get them to sign. Get the application right there and there, where you're sitting at their, in their on the parking lot, on their driveway or wherever you're parked. So you can do it that way. The other way, and I did this last week, I did my entire presentation to my seniors. We enrolled them in the plan, or everything was going as planned, but for some reason they couldn't get the link open to sign. And I was like, God, I was hitting the wall. I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're an hour away from me. Can you meet me halfway at the parking lot? And I'm going to fill everything out. I will slip it through your window in your car. You sign, give it to me. You'll be done in 5 minutes. And they were like, sure, we'll do that. Met them in the parking lot. The sign I took off. Perfect. I was done. So there are my 2 creative ways to get business done. is you take them an app, put it on their doorstep, and the other one is do your telesales, your presentation telephonically, and then do that signature. You remember I told you about Ethan? He did 18, 17 of them were over the phone and digitally, and then that 18th one didn't work. And so I sent him an application, and he got filled out. Met with them, and I don't know if he did a doorstep thing or how he did it, but it's because I think the biggest thing is business as usual.
Yeah.
Guys, you still got to do your thing.
If you're selling any kind of insurance to seniors right now, your conversion ratios for telesales should be better than ever. If you're worried about doing telesales and you're thinking about the difference, here's the thing. Your seniors want you to talk to them over the phone. They're more interested than usual. But the thing is they're going to be more receptive to this kind of, I guess you could call it a compromise type of solution, to where they still want what you're selling, and they're going to work with you on making it happen. And look, you can turn it into a selling point. You just say, hey, I'll bring my hand sanitizer, I'll wear a mask, I'll sanitize before I hand it to you, and then you can sanitize back. And, people, you have to understand, and this is another takeaway here, and I'm not minimizing the seriousness of any of this. It's just kind of a rule of thumb. People have a perception on a grand scale of things, but on an individual basis, they make decisions to do or don't do something. So perfect example is everybody hates to be sold. Everybody, you and I salespeople could say, yeah, I hate being sold. I know I do. But the other side of that is everybody loves to buy. And there's salespeople we've all dealt with that have been great helps. We really like them. They're honest and trustworthy. And we judge them on that individual circumstance, not according to this prejudice across the board. So that's how your clients will treat you. If you can come up with a creative approach, trust me, their need has not changed. It's how they approach solving that problem, whether it's through the door, through, a meetup at Walmart and parking lot handoff, or over the phone, that you've got to adapt to. Other than that, everything business is as normal, if not better.
It's not, and I'll tell you, here are two good takeaways with that. There is a sense of urgency right now. So, what normally may not be a sense of urgency, this pandemic is creating a sense of urgency. Okay. Yesterday, I got an email from Humana. And first of all the carriers out there posted, we are covering the testing of this disease, this condition, this coronavirus. Just the testing, not the treatment. Okay. If you have treatment that's required because you have the condition, then you still have to meet your copays. All right. Well, yesterday, Humana just posted that they're going to waive those copays. They're the only ones that have, to my knowledge, and I can send you those documents. So they're expanding their their doctor on call. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Teledoc. They're expanding those services, but then they are also now waiving the cost of treatment for the coronavirus. Now, usually when one carrier does something, the other ones tend to follow.
Right.
So, but I haven't got any other word from any other carriers out there. So it is creating a sense of urgency. So that, in fact, this pandemic should actually help you, not hurt you. Just adapt to doing it over the phone. Mm-hmm. And the one good thing, and I'm telling agents on this, is, there's a lot of agents that don't have a big book of business, but having a book of business during this time, man, it is a comfort blanket.
So let's
talk about that.
Yes, because you took the words right out of my mouth. I wanted to conclude on this, and I want for a moment, if I could paint the picture here and imagine for a second. Let's say the agents watching this started a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, selling Medicare. Then this pandemic hits. They've got several hundred, possibly even 1,000 clients on the books. How are they feeling right now, Luis? You're in this position personally. How are these agents feeling right now about their ability to earn an income? Has it changed? Are they scared like everybody else is?
Well, let me tell you. So I sent you a little board that we created because sometimes you got to get reminded on the money that's coming in. Yeah, I get money, I get checks and deposits from carriers, and I just put them in. I don't even keep up with it anymore. But it is a great comfort to know. Now, I also have a P&C agency, and that one we're having a tough time. You know, people are, you know, it's not a necessity. The beauty of Medicare is that there's no premiums. So normally you're not going, this is something they're not going to cancel. You know, if they have money and the X amount of dollars, you know, sometimes, you know, sadly, sometimes life insurance I've seen is the first thing to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then like what I'm experiencing right now is auto insurance. God almighty, we're getting cancellations left and right, and people doing everything they can to minimize their premiums.
Right.
Well, most MAPDs, Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans, don't have a premium. So you're not going to feel any pain there. Now, I've got the chart here pulled up in front of me. And so David, you mentioned, hey, let's just say that you're an agent that sells on the average. Now, this is an extremely low producing agent, but let's just say that you do 100 a year. Okay. You know, you're writing maybe 10 apps a month. Okay. Well, that's fine. Most of our agents are doing between 30 to 40 a month on our program. Okay. But let's just say that you have a book of business of 100 policies. Okay. You're now going to be bringing in $25,000 a year or $21.25 a month. Regardless, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to do anything. You're just doing your thing and that check is coming in. Now, let's just say that you're the above average agent and you've got 300 policies. Well, you've got $76,000 coming in that year or $6,000 and change a month. Okay, now we get into that. Let's just say, let's go back to that agent who did 100, but he's been doing it for 5 years. Well, geez, that guy's got 127,000 and change coming in at 10 grand a month. All right, now we got some superstars out there. You know, let's just say that we've got that agent who writes 250 a year, and they've been in business for 4 years. Okay, this guy is making a little over $250,000, bringing in $21,000 a month. I don't think that guy's too worried about what's going on right now.
And how much is he going to lose out of this business because of coronavirus?
Not one bit.
Not one bit.
Not one bit. I'll tell you, these renewals, this is what we live for. This money that I'm talking about, guys, you know, there's fast money and then there's the slow money. This is the slow money. This is stuff that you build your book and it starts trickling in and it starts getting bigger and bigger. It's that snowball going downhill. You know, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, it's a great snowball, man. You know, we've got some agents that will be at that 1,000 mark in 2 years.
Right.
And you look at what they're building. And so I tell you agents out there, if you haven't considered getting in this Medicare space, guys, this is a hell of a time to do it. You know, learn from this because there'll probably be something else going down the road. Telesales, you know, this may be the new trend is that most of the time they're going to go to telesales. So you might as well use as a jumping platform to get into that side of the business. So you've got the slow money coming in from Medicare, but where's your fast money? Your final expense. You've got a lot of upfront commissions on final expense. On Medicare, you know, on most of my presentations, and I'm going to say 50% of them, I just don't sell my Medicare Advantage plan. I would either attach a hospital indemnity plan, and that one pays like final expense, and I will attach a short-term home health care plan. You know, again, and I will tell you the beauty of that short-term, and maybe me and you have another conversation on this one, is that one almost will pay for itself. Okay, and we can talk about that, but it's something that I think seniors definitely need to have, because if you give them the choice of where to get treatment, at home or at a hospital, they're going to want to get treated at home. And you've got to have the money for that. And that short-term plan, depending on how many drugs they're taking, may even be free or very little premium for them. But it pays out like a final expense policy. a lot of upfront money. So you can package this Medicare Advantage package and walk out with a pretty sizable commission.
Yeah, I think the thing I'm going to conclude this on is this experience should give you excitement's maybe not the right word, but some peace of mind or certainty. If you're going to get into the Medicare business, guess what? Adversity never goes away. There's always problems. The Great Recession, the dot-com bust, 1987 banking crisis, probably a lot of other stuff I'm forgetting about. And what this business provides in the senior market for sure, but especially in Medicare, is the ability to literally have zero impact on whatever happens in the economy. And that's powerful because there's people who made a lot of money. Time's been good the past couple of years. And this came out of nowhere, the black swan, as they're calling it. Nobody could have called this. But there are businesses that have already gone down or will go down the tubes. But Medicare will not. It is here. It is stronger. It's going to continue being just as strong, if not stronger. And if you're in a position right now as an agent where you're struggling, you're not seeing the kind of prospects that you were because of all of this understandable fear, or if you're somebody looking to get into this business and you've lost your job. I know there's people right now who are watching. I've talked to them that, like timeshare guys, they don't know what to do. They can't do business. It's completely ending. This is a great opportunity to get a business model that is immune from this. Recession proof, probably. Recession resistant for sure. And I think all of you who are in this position right now understand that. I don't know about you, Luis, but I came into this business out of sheer desperation. I wouldn't be doing what I was doing unless I had failed out of my first business during the Great Recession. And that loss of my first business, was like losing a kid. Even though it was sad and just rough, it opened this huge door into this wonderful business that has provided me so much. And I can't be more thankful for it. So, Luis, you got any final words? Now
I do. And this is, again, to the agents that are out there that are in, or not just agents, but people who are thinking about getting into this industry. A couple of things I'm going to conclude with. Number one, seniors want help. Mm-hmm. Okay? They do not want to do this on their own.
No.
Medicare.gov is a mess. Okay. The first time I went in there after it got updated, I can't believe I made a rookie mistake. And I consider myself a professional, and I screwed up. Imagine the senior who's never gone to that site and they're trying to evaluate what plan to get on. So they need our help. They want our help. I've never encountered resistance when you want to talk Medicare to them. So number one, you're dealing with a customer, a client who wants help. So that's you don't have to sell them. They're asking you, please help me. Okay. Number two, we're in a time in history where we never had as many seniors turning 65 as we have now. And if you're thinking, well, damn it, I'm already at the end of this. No. It's completely the opposite. This is the start of this
ground floor opportunity. It really is.
Yes.
I mean, you're on the ground floor as far as things.
Lots of opportunity. And then the third thing that I'm going to add to this, and to make this the perfect storm, is you don't have a lot of agents doing this. You got a lot of agents retiring right now and out of the business. And so this is a hell of a time for agents to get in. I have yet to see our commissions be reduced. Mm-hmm. So every year we're getting a raise. So that's awesome. There is no politician that is going to dare touch Medicare and change it and make it bad. That senior population is too big. So you hit the nail right on the head.
You want to see rioting in the streets?
Yeah.
Social Security away. You're going to see grannies and grandpas running down the street, voting the bums out. Politicians won't touch this. There's just
so yeah. Medicare's not going away. It's out there. It's a great time to do this. And David, one thing we should point out for those of you who are like, you know what, Luis, you did a pretty decent job to convince me. Okay, I want to start. Now what? Where do I go? first step is get a hold of David. Okay. We've got to, of course, you've got to be licensed. If you're not, we'll work on getting you licensed. Secondly, once you're licensed and you made the decision to jump on board, then at that point you get a hold of that guy right there, and he's going to get you completely set up. Once we get you set up with that, and you're like, okay, great, I've got all these carriers to sell, but how do I sell? Well, that's my job. That's where I'm going to help you. And I've got a partner that's helping me out. And so between him and I, we have videos out there that we can help you with. We're doing a lot of one-on-one training. I love using Zoom. And so we'll do some Zoom trainings at night after I put the kids down. Text messaging, we'll do what we can to help you new agents get into the business. And I'm going to start on it, and I'll shut up here after this one, David. When I go and do some trainings, I usually would tell the agents, and especially if I'm on doing a ride-along, I'm going to tell them, okay, guys, we're going to ride along, but you're going to tell me when we're done, Luis, this is it. This is really all you do, because this business is not complicated. Remember who we're dealing with.
Right.
We're dealing with seniors. And so it's not a complicated presentation that needs to be done. It has to be a very thorough, compliant presentation, but it's not complicated. After, most of the guys that I ride along with, after the third appointment, they can usually pretty much handle it. At that point, we just become a resource. We become the phone a friend, and that's what we have. That's what's available to you guys, and it's not costing you guys a penny. That's just part of what we're doing as part of your team.
Right.
So we're going to give you the resources to help you out if you need it.
So like Luis said, I'm your guy if you need and want to proceed forward in the Medicare Advantage world. Of course, we didn't really talk much about it, but we have lead programs to help you stay busy with, say, things like direct mail, Facebook leads. We actually have the ability to reduce your costs based off of your performance. Oh, yeah. So we can knock down the pricing of that. You get the training. You get me for the final expense side of things. It's a match made in paradise, I guess you could say.
It is.
If your goal is to go out there and to do exactly what we've described, that agents are thankful and blessed for, putting together a renewal stream unaffected by the economies, and you want to get involved too, go to the link below in my video. It's going to take you to my website. It's my contact form. You can send me a message there, or just click on the Join Dave's Agency button at the top. There's going to be a section on Medicare Advantage. Watch that to get a more thorough understanding of how everything works. And if everything sounds good, you can set up a time to speak with me, and we'll talk about the process of moving forward. Luis, thank you for your time.
You're welcome, man. Let's do this again soon, and we need to talk about those ancillary products.
Yeah, and hey, you better get home before your wife goes crazy.
She is already. She's already drinking, man.
Right. Yeah, same here. All right. Bye. Take care.
All right. Take care, man. Good to see you.
Thank you.